Hi guys, and welcome to episode 9 of my recap story of Pokemon Journey through Kanto. And if you're new to this series, this is where I do recap of a tabletop RPG game with Pokemon that I'm playing at Spain's Hus every other Friday. And today this is episode 9. And last but last off, we have just finished our very long journey, almost like a 5-day trip through Viridian Forest. And we have managed to both encounter one trainer, we encounter a professor, Go, one of our players. He managed to both get a king-sized Weedle and an Alpha Bulbasaur during this journey. Then we have Max, another player, who managed to get an Oddish, average size Oddish, and Rain got an average size Teddiursa just before they hit the Pewter City later that night with the last day. And that's where we left off. We have just finished talking to Nurse Joy. Like it was the Pewter City gym is now a ground type gym, and there's a challenge before you can actually face the gym leader. And then we took a bath, we ate and went to bed. So starting this session, kind of woke up. Rainer woke up a bit early because he had a sense of when his egg was supposed to hatch, and so he wanted to now be ready. So he had put the egg next to him while he sleeps, so he can feel the movement, and when it starts, so he can prepare. So he felt that around 6 or something, the small crack had been near to open, and roughly he estimated 3 hours from now the egg would actually hatch. So not be near Max and Go, since they are sharing a 4-bunk room, and Sydney has her own room, which is the last player we have. Unfortunately, the one that plays Sydney has not been able to be on a session for a very long time, putting on work schedules, and this week she was apparently sick, which is saddened because it's always hard, but like when you're gone for many sessions, to like get into it again and kind of act like you have been there all the time. And that's a hard thing, but we hopefully we can work things out. So Rain took the egg and put himself in a corner, put the egg in around his legs, and just kept it like massaging it gently and just waiting for it to hatch. Max then woke up around 8, which then we're seeing some small cracks on the egg, and the movement has been more consistent, like someone is actually trying to get out. And Max, they decided then to stay up with Rain to watch this birth of a new life in the Pokemon world. And about 9, the egg hatches, and the room was filled with a slight colder breeze air. And as soon as like this like instant of like cold air hit us, we heard the small voice of a newly hatched Alolan Vulpix. And my character Rain's Alolan Jinx, which he nicknamed Jinx, was born. And we did manage in offhand a bit here, thanks to like me being a Pokemon. Rain is a Pokemon breeder, so it means he has abilities. That means he can kind of edge whatever is in that egg to be someone what he really kind of want to be. So a couple of things he could change, make sure like that could be happening, so like he could be like make it a size help it like which size he wants it to be. Get nature, he can decide. Gender, ability, and if it's shiny or not, or at least increase the odds of being shiny. So, but he can only pick 2 out of like 5 or 6 things, like things to being a breeder and having expertise how to raise an egg or take care of it. That's a boon a Pokemon breeder gets in this game. And Rain decided he wanted an egg move, which is Freeze Dry. I chose because it's an awesome move to have for an ice type, and to have it be a female. It is an average size Alolan Vulpix. It has a Snow Warning, or a Snow Cloak as its ability, and got the nature Sassy, which, thanks to like I am basing the nickname and bit of a character of Jinx, like you see right there behind me. And of course, all my main team Pokemon is gonna have a nickname from the Arcane show. I'm trying to find my Vi and Caitlyn. I already got my Savika, which is a Alpha Crocodile right now, soon to be an Alpha Feraligatr, which is nice. So now, Sassy kind of works for a Jinx. I was hoping for Rash, but I got Sassy, which means in Pokemon my special defense goes up with a die type, but my speed die goes down by 1. Still decent, a D6 in speed instead of a D8, and now my special defense is a D10 instead of a D8. But it's still nice. Like most of Vulpix stats is just D6s, so that's pretty good for me. And then around 10, Go finally wakes up. And so after breakfast and stuff like that, Max and Go decided to have a training montage for himself, and Rain went to the gym where he has been technically Pewter City nowadays. Look kind of like Rustburg City Gym from the Hoenn regions. Part museum, part gym. So we have the Pewter City Gym, which is mostly focused on fossils, fossils and stuff like that. And then we have the Museum of Science next to it. And what a very rare find that have been found in Grandpa Caves has been a Tarantum fossil, which was pretty good. And then then after like admiring the bones and structure of ancient Pokemon, Rain went to the receptionist to require when there's an opening for the challenge to beat before you can face the gym leader. And it was 2 days from that day, which is cool. And turns out the challenge for the Pewter City Gym is a baking challenge. Yeah, was not expecting that, but hey, every gym leader has their niche, and like for me, like first was like a surprise, but then now I think about it, it makes sense since the first gym leader we ever was introduced to Pewter City was Brock, who also wanted to be a Pokemon breeder, but then become a Pokemon doctor, but he loves to cook food. Now it's not Brock, it's the gym leader in Pewter City now, because we are so far ahead. Like Gary Oak is the Grandpa Oak now in our timeline in this Pokemon game. So that's the kind of fun. So now we have that. I told Max and Go, well, after signing myself up for the challenge, to what there was, and there was some slot left for them, which they do day after. And after that, Rain decided to find a trainer to battle because he needed some pocket change in case the challenge needed him to buy some ingredients. But we're going to more of that later. And then he late night went to the Pokémon like at 50 minutes before it closed, just to quick look around where the store had in stocks, what it was selling, stuff like that, so he can prepare a list when he potentially wins the Pokemon gym and has more money to spend on stuff like Poke food, rations, and balls. Pokeballs. You need them to catch Pokemon. He doesn't really have many. So with that, then the day comes when Max and Go goes and sign up for the challenge. Rain decides, okay, trying to focus on Civica, since Civica is the only Pokemon right now Rain has that is good against its gym. Technically, I have two, but in this game we have to wait about 5 days until a newly hatched Pokemon is ready to join into battle. It needs 5 days to get its grip on the world, basically, which makes sense. Technically it should be longer, but 5 days has been like roughly when now you can start earning XP and gaining ranks. So he trained Civica a bit that day and have Civica learn Bite instead of Scratch. And then Go went to bond with his now king size Kakuna, and I think Max trained his Oddish for some XP, I think. So with getting ready with the Pokemon, I think Go just want to have Kakuna be ready to evolve into a Beedrill, and Max wanted to make sure like getting some XP for Oddish, since that's his Pokemon for the gym. So we trained a bit that day, we ate, sleep, and then the challenge day came, and we had a time at 10 o'clock. We went there. There was 4 other trainers there to do the cooking challenge. And we were supposed to bake a cake this time. And most ingredients were there, but then we had the rules set on us. We need to go out and find up to 4 ingredients. 1 for the cake, 1 for the glazing, and 1 for the toppings. Technically 2 for the cake, 1 for glazing, 1 for topping. The cake was supposed to be sweet and spicy. The glaze was supposed to be dry, and the topping was supposed to be bitter. We could not use any ingredients or berries we already had on us. So if you have food with you, they were locked in a cool box until the challenge was over. You were not allowed to buy berries from the Pokémon, which the staff have been notified who is taking the challenge and who is not allowed to buy. So they will deny us if we try. So we are supposed to go out and find the berries, which is a nice challenge, definitely. And of course, as Pokemon trainers, we use our Pokemon to help us, if we can. Which also can take some time if we don't really know what we're going for. So we have 2 hours to find the ingredients. If you don't find it in that time limit, we are disqualified. Then we have a 1 hour time to bake, and then we're gonna get judged by it. And they're looking for above average cake. Now, I will point out, neither of us has any point in the skill of cooking. Though Rain has technically some advantage of cooking food, but at the time I thought it was more like, since it's technically for Pokemon food, maybe it will not work, so I didn't ask during this session. I asked today if that would have helped me, and which was answered with possibly, could add like for the numbers. So next, okay, yeah, I can also say I failed. I rolled pretty badly at the glaze, which also was my best die. So we then started to hunt, and we tried to use the Pokemon to get it, and I looked up like first the indication to like, okay, which berry has the taste we're looking for. We all had some different. I managed to make a couple of berries that has the taste profile that I wanted, so it was easier for me. I already knew what I wanted, right? So I just take a in game, roll up my phone, put a picture, and I held my Teddy Ursa, which I had nicknamed Blossom, to help me search, or in more cases, help me pick the berries. Sorry. Max, he went mostly with the berries he already knew had some of the profile he was looking for. So he didn't take any search for it, and Go did the same thing with Rain, but he didn't get much reminders in his, like, he couldn't figure out too many berries. So we looked for it, and first of all, Max was a bit ahead, but then after with the first berries, then we were switching around a bit. Then actually Go was the one that got his berries first. He managed to find two set of like berries that has one was sweet and spicy, which Rain also got. Then he found a berry that has both bitter and dry, and then he went back to the gym. Rain, which had already knew what he was gonna, he found all the berries he needed for it, and Max found also all his berries, but unfortunately one of the berries like clash with the one that's supposed to not have. He has one sweet dry and one sweet bitter, so he needed to. He was gonna have a bit more high difficulty to get like to hide the sweetness of that flavor, because it was not really supposed to be on like the glazing or like the toppings, but also the dry or the bitter he was gonna use for the cake. So he needed. So it was gonna be a bit higher difficulty for him to reach. Then we all went back. Go managed to get back to the gym with 45 minutes left on the clock. Rain and Max managed to get back and it was 10 minutes left. There was only one NPC trainer that didn't make the time, so he was cut. Now it was time for baking. And now, when we're doing stuff as trainers, we have skills. We have agility, education, strength, fortitude, charm, and awareness to choose from. And when you're cooking, you do either education or agility. Cooking to like understand the recipe and stuff like what you need to do, and like do all the measurement and stuff like that. But actually doing the stuff, you need agility. Now you can use your Pokemon to help you, and sometimes if you do it correctly, you either save time or you can get advantage on your rolls, which is always good. Now, we tried a bit of things. When we're starting with the cake, I had Savika help me holding like all the bowls and stuff, because Rain, for all you that doesn't know, Rain only has one arm. Thanks for saving Savika. When Savika was an egg, he kind of lost his arm after being crushed by a tree during a terrible storm at his family's breeding farm, where they are breeding and raising the entire Fraligator line. So he had help there, but so I didn't get any bonus and stuff like that, but I did manage to roll pretty high. I rolled a 7 on a D with a D4, which is essentially, if you roll the highest number on your die, you got something like an explosion effect, which means you roll again and add a number to that. And then you add also, if you have a badge, you add that as a point. If you have a point in skills, you add that as well. Now I didn't have any points in the cooking skill, but I had one badge since earlier. So it means I had the dice plus 1, basically. And I rolled 6 and added then 1, so which is 7. So we're pretty good. And thanks to like, though, and Go had also like decent, so we all managed to do the cake pretty well. Then comes the glazing, where I tried to save some time, to use my newly born Jinx that has been now alive for a total of 3 days. Use powder snow to help cool the glaze a bit, so instead of being runny, you could smear it around the cake. I didn't get any bonus there either. I don't know if my GM forgot that or it was not enough to get a bonus. More likely it was my creativity with it was not enough. I think if I was succeeded, I would have saved some time so I could maybe focus more on the toppings. Just with how Max uses his Charmander to help the cooking process of the cake itself. He saves some time with that, so he actually has some extra time in case he failed at glazing a topping to redo it. Now I roll pretty low with because I needed an education here, and which is, for me, is a D8, which is a good roll. But unfortunately, I rolled a 1, and with the badge, it means I got a 2. So my glaze, even with help from Jinx, was extremely runny. Now I had enough berries to do another batch, one more set of it. But when I was asking how Rain would feel with the time, it was, you could do it, then maybe not have enough with the toppings. It could be, so it was iffy if I had enough time to do it in game. So as Rain, I decided to gamble. Hopefully I had enough of the topping in the roll to pass. But I also tried to do one last thing with Jinx, is when I used the powder snow to create almost like a winter look to the cake, and hopefully to help dry the glaze a bit more, cool it down so it stopped running. I did manage to roll a total of 7 again. So, and I think Max rolled also a bit low. I don't know where he kind of failed, but he was a bit ahead of me, Rain. And Go, he rolled bad, but he decided to then re-roll because he wanted it, and which was a good decision because he rolled, I think he has a D20 in that thing he needed the most, and he exploded and got 42 in his roll. So thanks to that, he got enough points to succeed, which was 18. I think Max got 16 or 17. Rain got 15, which was not enough. So Rain and Max need to do this challenge again. That's why I like, okay, I need to at least ask, because I forgot. I didn't think too much. I didn't ask about it during this session. So I asked, and he said probably. I think it also depends on how I want to use that skill. In a way of my battle power, basically, as a Pokemon breeder, is that I can cook food with special ingredients to my Pokemon to help them boost a stat for a fight. And depending on my training limits, I can do that to multiple Pokemon. And right now I can just do it to a singular Pokemon. But next training limit I go up to, I can do it to 2 and stuff like that. Which is pretty good. Because if you can boost a stat, it means you have, instead of here, I'm adding my own education die, which is D8, to that stat, and I'm rolling to see if I succeed or fail. Depending on if that's a defense die, HP die, or attack die. Even Speed Die could do that. So it's a probably could I give me some extra numbers to it, so that I could raise the numbers. So that's always good. Like I have the question, now I just need to remind myself to use it during this challenge, because I really want to win. And if I fail next time, I think Rain is gonna try to look up other gyms that has, and what if they have a challenge, or it's like the Viridian gym that has no challenge, you go straight to the gym leader. And then battle trainers to get enough money to afford a flying taxi to that city. Because also in the last episode of Recap Stories, in the last session, we were told about the tournament in the end of February in game that's gonna happen in Vermilion City, that also has pretty good prizes if you can get high enough. And we're all excited, and we all need minimum of 2 badges and $200 to enter this competition. So that's why we right now wants to have this gym challenge, because Max and Rain and Sydney needs 1 more badge to be able to do this tournament, and of course the money, but you get money when you beat the gym. And Go needs 2 badges. He really needs to beat this gym and then 1 more. And it seems like if Rain can't take this challenge, he think, all right, let's try to use technology, find a gym without a challenge I have some pretty good chance of succeeding, or a gym that doesn't have a challenge where you're straight going to the gym leader and fight there and hopefully win, and then join the group, face the tournament, basically. So that's what is Rain is now thinking. He's also trying to get more eggs. He's a Pokemon breeder, and he really wants to have most of his team coming from eggs. He got 1, he's looking for 3 more. And those 3 eggs he wants is an Growlithe egg, a Nidoran egg, and a Cantonian Vulpix eggs. So he has sent out some messages to Pokemon farms around Kanto, stuff like that. He kind of maybe has something already going, but he's looking for options and close by and stuff like that, and so see which one has the egg he wants. So we are ending this episode and the session with we have 1 success in the challenge, 2 that need to redo it the day after, and also having Go hopefully win his first gym. And of course Sydney to do her first gym challenge, which is baking or cooking. We don't know what we do next time in this challenge, but there's something with cooking to do. That more certain we know. We don't know what we are supposed to cook or bake. That is for next time. And this has been the recap episode 9. And as always, if you like this video, please hit that like and subscribe button so I know you want to see more. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you know when I put out more videos. Until then guys, have a great evening and hopefully for a good Sunday tomorrow. And I'll see you all guys in the next video. Bye.